right. So I'm recording this session to I'll post on YouTube for any of the FTP cadets that missed it. Cadet Cyrus will not be here because he's conducting GMCA interviews. So he will cover some of his input. Cadet Heine, Cadet Woodard, and I. And Cadet Loughran's on that Zoom call for Major General. So, all right, y'all. So, what I'm going to go ahead and do is Cadet Heine and I are going to go over some just tips and tricks, stuff we want you to know. I'll let Cadet Heine do a couple, and then we will let y'all ask questions, and then we'll go through more of ours. So, Heine, if you want to go ahead and start that off.
Is Woodard in here?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, did you see his message? So he's going to be here for the first 25, 30 minutes. So I think you should go first.
All right, that works. Woodard, you got anything? Go ahead.
Nothing specific, but if y'all have any questions, then I'll be here to answer them.
Okay.
All right, Heine, you got it.
I have that video for the duffel, unless you sent that out already, but
I'll get back to you on that in a little bit. All right, you got it.
All right, so some more specific things that we haven't really gone over necessarily. When you get to field training and you get your job, those first few days, they're going to be really hectic. So I would say my first tip for y'all is to use your dorm hallway. You're going to be in there the whole time. Recently, it got changed to when you do your Vigilant Warrior section, you're not actually going to be staying the night there. So no hooches or none of that. So you're literally going to be in this dorm every single night and for a lot of the day. So don't be afraid to go out in the hallway, post up against the wall, and make an announcement to your flight. Also, okay, here, let me open up. Maybe open this doc we have. Got some more written down. Also, when you get your 341s, I know we talk about having your orders on you at all times, printing a bunch of orders. When you get your 341s, fill out a lot of them. Fill out like at least 20 of them at a time. Whether you do that at night, like when you're supposed to be sleeping, or you find another time to do it, make sure you're getting that done. Same thing goes with memorandums. Fill out like templates of memorandums at the beginning of the day when you have time, so that you're not rushing at the end of the day to get that done so you can turn it in. You definitely don't want to be that person that doesn't have a memorandum turned in at the end of the day, or has to make somebody wait for it. Do you want me to cover all mine right now, and then you jump in?
You can cover one or two more, and I'll let them ask some questions, and then I'll jump in.
Okay. Another tip, we talked about this a lot during the semester when we were meeting, is bringing your cover with you. So bring your cover for your ABUs all the time, except for perhaps PT in the morning, because you'll go back to your dorms after PT in the morning. But after that, you don't really know like when you're going to the DFAC or when you're doing something like that. So make sure you bring that cover. Put it in your hydration pack. Hydration pack is like a backpack, so there will be different pockets in there. You'll be able to hold a lot of stuff actually. So that's definitely something that'll be helpful for you. But yeah, I got a few more, but in case there's any questions.
Yeah, that's floor's open to you all. Definitely answer question or ask questions for anything you want. It can be related to travel, it can be related to field training, it can be related to after field training, just anything you want to know. I would cater it more towards actually being at field training though. So I'll open the floor for about 5 minutes, depending on how many questions we have.
it can even be something like you want us to talk about more, like something specific, like maybe DFAC, if you just want us to elaborate maybe on some of the procedures or something like that. I don't know.
There are any questions? I know y'all got questions. Y'all asked tons of questions during the semester. I know there's no way you got clarification between then and now. So I would really encourage you all, if you woke up at this time, to be here to ask questions, because we're not just going to we're not going to be able to cover everything you're going to want to know. Like, I would definitely, it can be little, like, specific things like Woodard just said. It doesn't have to be, like, broad.
Okay, the memos.
Yeah, you got it.
So memorandums, those are going to be addressed to your FTO. So whichever FTO you're going to be submitting it to, for example, if it was Captain Dutcher was your FTO, memorandum for Captain Dutcher, subject blank from blank, and then, or no, my bad, from blank, subject blank, and then you go ahead and do it. And then signature block at the bottom, you can standardize that. So similar to the ones that we write here, memorandums for like your weekly memorandums, that's going to be, you can use that same format when you write them at field training. They're
Yeah.
gonna be quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying, they're going to be quick. They're not going to be like long, lengthy memorandums because you're not going to have time to write all that.
Yeah. Just to add on, mine were actually addressed to my CTA, but that's up to how the FTA CTAs want to do that. It's possible my CTA was just like, that's what was delegated to him, was to read through the memos and just update the captain, the FTO. But what I will say is, yes, they are very similar to a format you're used to. 3 top headers and then 5 questions and maybe a 6th question, and then like bottom rankings or top rankings, and then your signature. It's 1 page on a little notebook. They'll give you, if they do it again this year, I'm sure they will, they give you like a little red notebook, looks like this. It's like a little flip over notebook. You'll write down all your lessons in it, and that's where you'll do your memos from. You'll keep that with you everywhere you go as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
What we did is so I was the AO day 1, and they actually give you like a 5-minute period or something like that to go standardize and go make your own memo template. I don't know if y'all did that, but that's what we did. So I just made a memo template real quick for everybody. We had a little like meeting.
That sounds nice. Yeah, I think it's different for everybody because we didn't do.
Yeah, we had like a 10-minute little.
Yeah,
make a memo
everybody's
GLP.
experience is going to be different on that. I will say though, if you do write it out to somebody, make sure that you're really timing when you're going to submit that, because I know for this summer, there's going to be 2 FTOs and 2 CTAs per day per flight. So half the day you'll have 1 FTO and CTA, half the day you'll have another FTO and CTA. So that's just something else to plan for.
All right, Rodriguez, you got a question?
Do you think DFAC procedures will change at all due to the current circumstances?
Heine, I'm going to defer to you on that one.
Well, so far, we don't have guidance on any changes to the DFAC. I know that there's going to be pre-screening. I know that people are going to have masks at field training. But in terms of DFAC, if I hear anything about that, then I'll definitely send it out. But I haven't got any specific guidelines on changes in DFAC procedure.
The only thing I could even see changing would just be the distance between people in line. I mean, that's really the only thing I could see changing.
They need to get people in there. They need to
Yeah.
cycle through there. So, yeah.
But you'll figure it out.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions? Keep them coming.
You see Ma's question?
Yeah, I got it. So Moss asked, and we talked about reporting in right when you get there. What is the day there like? So I'll go ahead and answer that one. So that depends on when you get there. So how day one's going to look like, I doubt it'll differ much other than there's pre-screening. Okay, so if you take out the whole pre-screening part and whatever else they got going on extra for COVID, here's what the day would look like without that. Okay, you're going to get to the airport. You're going to get to Atlanta from wherever you came from, and you're going to sit, depending on when you get there, in a very long line of in-processing at the airport, and you're going to be there with all the other ROTC cadets at like the bottom part of the airport, and you're going to in-process. They're going to give you your flight. They're going to let you have the option to buy a T-shirt there, or they'll do that later. I don't know. And then they'll be like, all right, you're in process. Get on this bus. And you'll get on a bus, and they'll tell you, hey, shut up and study your FTM. It's like 2 hours, a 2-hour ride. And you ride to get there to Maxwell. And then when you get off the Maxwell, say it's your dorm, you go to another in-processing at Maxwell. And it's super intense. CTAs come walking out like a line of stormtroopers, and they start yelling at you immediately. And you do in processing, so you do like they measure your height and weight, and they get sizes for things, and then you're doing warrior knowledge on the wall, and there's a bunch of other paperwork you have to fill out, and then they take you to your bus, where you bus to your dorm. And when you get to your dorm, like I said, depending on when you get there, everyone is going to be doing stuff. It's not like you're going to walk in, they're going to be like, hey, I'm blank, nice to meet you. Everyone is going to be completely busy, and your main goal is going to be probably reporting in. You're probably going to get there. Your CTA is going to go, what's your name? You're going to go, Young. You're like, Young. You have 10 minutes, get in your blues, report in. So you're going to go throw your duffel in there, take your backpack off that has your blues in it. Hopefully they're not super wrinkled. Put your blues on, report in. And when you get done, from that point on, unless they give you a job, like unless you have like academic supply or flight commander, you just focus on making your room. So you dump your duffel out and get it all organized, meet with the standardization officer, figure out who they are, and get your room set up. And that was pretty much my entire day, because I got there pretty late. So I didn't fly in till 3 or 4, and I didn't get to Maxwell till like 5, I think. I got in there pretty late. So everyone else was already there, and all I remember doing is reporting in and then getting some briefings and then going to bed, or getting getting MREs for dinner and going to bed. That was it. So go ahead. I'm sure that answers your question. For tech sergeant,
minus the blues.
Minus the blues part. That's right. Thank you. Minus the blues. For Max 1, they want you within 400 miles of drive. I have no idea what that would look like. Honestly, absolutely no idea. Heini, you got anything on what that would look like in processing for driving?
So there'll be direction for you. You'll get sent direction. But you go in, you'll drive in. I had somebody in my flight that did it. And basically what they did is they parked in this parking lot that was designated for CTAs. Then they did their in processing the same as everybody else. They went to the same building. And then they got their flight and stuff and designation and stuff there. So in terms of like the health screening and everything, I'm not too sure what that'll look like yet, but I'll definitely get back to y'all when I figure that out.
Yeah, like we said, you guys are going to have to be on your toes for this one, okay? This is going to be new for everyone. This is going to be new for you all, obviously, but it's especially going to be new for the leadership, okay? And so there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you just got to put your nose to the grindstone and stick with it. And don't forget the training that we gave you all, okay? That's 100% still accurate. It's 100% still going to be used, okay? It just might be used in different ways. But if you go out there and you know the training and you're not worried about the training and you're just worried about what's unknown, that's the best way you could be there, because you'll perform better than almost every single person out there. All right. So while we're waiting for another question, I'll just go ahead and talk on some stuff that Cadet Cyrus wanted to put in there. So one of the things he said that's actually kind of valid, like in the sense that like I didn't even think about this, but it's a good idea, is he said bring toiletries that you would use at your house. Don't bring something cheap. Like don't bring the little freaking travel sized tiny shampoo bottle, or like, you know, like don't bring like a really crappy razor, right? Don't bring like the disposable razor because you think, oh, I'm a field training, like I don't have time for fancy. If you have an electric razor, bring an electric razor. Okay, it's super quick. You know, if you need shaving cream, right? Like you use shaving cream because you got more stubble. Like don't bring a little teeny bottle of it. Bring the one you use. Okay, get comfortable. Bring stuff from home that you use so you're more comfortable with what you have, and you don't feel like you're like scrounging around and like doing survival over there. Okay, because that's just going to complicate things more. It's going to like make you feel like you're further away from home because you might get homesick there. Like I mean I definitely did like the first couple nights. So yeah, do yourself a favor. Bring what you can from home. Now, that being said, that does not bring Paul Mitchell tea tree oil 4-part shampoo conditioner, because you need the flowing locks to stay at field training and stay on your game. I would bring, if you're a guy, bring the 3-in-1. Body, hair, and whatever else. I think it's shampoo, conditioner, body, right? Put that on, done. Like 5 minutes or 5 seconds, right? You don't need to be doing conditioner and shampoo. You should only have like one bottle. That's the only thing that'll probably differ from your home. And then on that same note, with bathroom stuff and just dorm in general, fill your Camelback up before bed, okay? Because in the morning, you're going to have to fill your Camelback up. And I know it sounds silly, but this is a perfect way to give you an actual time hack of how much time you don't have. Think about how long it takes to fill, you know, like a little Camelback up. It's probably like bags like this big. You know, this then obviously expands to about this big. It's probably like what? Just 30 seconds at full blast probably on the faucet. Okay? That is nerve-wracking 30 seconds. In the morning, like that 30 seconds trying to fill your Camelback up could be used doing something else, honestly. Like, from my experience, you know, because you're out of the door by like 4:05. So that's wake up to out of the door. So I would get your Camelback filled at night, lay it down somewhere, and then you don't have to even worry about that. You just pick it up and go. Honey, you have anything to add to that? Or
So
we're
I hung
Uh,
mine up on my bedpost, and the other guy would just put his on the ground right next to mine.
You talking about your Camelback?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I also say, like I had the Camelback laid on like the bathroom counter, ready, and then next to my flashlight, and then what I do is just throw on the Camelback, grab my flashlight, grab my PT mat, and or after I jump into my flip flops, try not to get jumped on by my roommate who is on the top bunk when he's getting down, and then you rush out the door. You don't want to be the last one out. Make sure you're putting your reflective belts on. Make sure you're putting them on the right way. I got yelled at a few times because I had my reflective belt on, but I had like the little tight, the excess like hanging down. Make sure you take care of that. Don't leave your room if you don't have your Camelback on. That goes at any time. You never leave without your Camelback on. That means you don't go into the hallway without your Camelback. And then lastly, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, turn your lights off when you're outside of the room, when you're leaving the room for PT in the morning.
I would take there's going to be a lot of pressure for you to get out of your room quickly, but every time you leave, I would take literally like a second to a second and a half and just kind of run through a mental checklist. Like, all right, I got whatever uniform I got on properly, because I got a 341 for just not tucking my PT shirt in. So just make sure everything's good on you. Turn around, make sure everything's good in your room, and then leave.
Yep.
Because missing something silly is the easiest way to look dumb on day 1 or 2.
And for hopefully most of you fortunate enough to have a wingman in your actual room, like most people will, but I ended up not having that happen. Use your wingman, right? So like just do a little quick like, hey, you check me, good. Is the room good? All right, we're good. And then like that's double security. Do exactly like what Woodard said, because yeah, I've run out same exact thing. I didn't get 241 because I didn't get caught, but I ran out with my PT shirt completely untucked. Or one time I ran out with my shoes on the wrong foot, but I
How?
didn't remember that until like I was at the PT pad.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Because my shoes are I brought really worn out tennis shoes to field training, and they were on the wrong feet. And I had no idea because my feet hurt so bad at field training that I couldn't tell. And yeah, so I was at the PT pad with backwards shoes, but thank goodness nobody was looking at my feet at attention, because that would have been very, very interesting.
I do have another specific thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you are top bunk, this is gonna sound weird. I was top bunk. The rails are very thin. You have to be careful. So just like he said, it would be relatively easy for me to step on my roommate's head. So it's a thin pole. Your roommate's head is going to be like 5 inches from that pole. And getting up and down, getting down in the morning when someone's screaming at you is a place where it wouldn't be too difficult to fall. First probably 2 mornings, I honestly do not remember getting down. I just remember loud banging, and then I like teleported to the hallway. Like, it's a weird feeling, so be careful.
Yeah, you'll definitely kick your roommate in the head if you're getting up at the exact same time, because your feet will swing over and you'll smack them. So just, yeah, be careful with that. I was top bunk as well.
I took the swing over. I took like the little ladder down, like the
ladder.
post, not like the ladder, but like the head of the bed. You'll go around that. Don't try to jump off the bed. You'll break an ankle.
It's actually, yeah, it's pretty high, and you'll hurt. That'd be just the dumbest way to ruin your field training, is breaking your ankle off the bunk bed.
For sure.
Okay. Couple things on a more serious note that Cyrus was talking about is this is a huge one. Oh, actually, I'll go ahead and answer Lamontine's question. What are some things that you don't have time for during the day that you sneak and do during lights out? All right, so we'll each discuss our own. For me personally, I did not do anything during lights out. And great question. That's the type of
How do
question.
you sneak it?
Can't advocate for it, can you?
Yeah. I didn't do anything during lights out actually, except I read some letters during my lights out. That was the only thing I did. I didn't need time for anything. Some people try to go like as far as folding clothes. Like if I were to do anything outside on lights out, it would have to be in your bed, like hopefully something you could do with like the light on your watch, if you have a strong enough light on your watch. I mean, the flashlights that you have there are like huge fat flashlights, and they're heavy. Or mine were like big metal flashlights. And if you were gonna try and use that, that's risky. Like I said, all I did was read letters, and I used the flashlight just under the covers, read some letters, and then stuffed the letters under my pillow. And then when we got up for bed in the morning, I had to remember to put them in my security drawer and grab my flashlight and put it away. But that's all I did. Heine?
So what I did was I took my little flashlight. I had a little one. My flashlight was like this big.
I know. Big beady boy.
So a little trick that I did. So I took the flashlight, right, and I inverted it. So the the light is pointing down, right? And then what I did was I had a little shelf. So I'd put it like half of it, so it's balancing like on the edge of the shelf. So half the light is like coming down, and it'll shine like on my bathroom counter or whatever. So I took that time to I filled out 341s, because I used up a lot of those. And then I looked at letters, same as Young. Try and get letters sent to you if you can. And then along with that, with the clothes folding, a way to get around having to fold your clothes constantly is with your laundry bag. So just keep getting them washed, keep getting them brought back to you, and then you might have some time like to fold them after like you shower or something, like a personal hygiene time. That's when I did most of my folding. Usually at the end of the day, at the end of the night, like I don't have much energy to be up and around like folding clothes. It's like the last thing I want to do. So
you could just lose your laundry and then you don't have to do that, like like what happened to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Woodard, you go ahead before we answer Crib's question.
Yeah, so I guess ideally nothing. Ideally, you don't want to be doing anything at night. I did not do a single piece of like what you would call work at night ever. What me and my roommates would do is we would open, because you have the doors open unless you're using this room. We'd flash our lights at each other, little watch lights. We'd all get together, and every night we would, in the watch light, cross off the day, and then we would salute our little notebook, and then we'd go to bed. That's the only thing we would do past lights out. So I guess aside from, what do you say?
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, so I guess aside from like morale, I would really refrain from doing stuff. So honestly, the only thing I could see catching up to you is laundry. And so what what a lot of people do, and it's not necessarily within the confines of the rules. This is breaking the rules. I do not recommend doing it. But you'll have 2 laundry bags. One will always be gone. Not always, but like for the entirety of the day, you'll get it back at night. I would not recommend keeping your clean clothes in the dirty laundry bag away from the dirty clothes, but close enough so that it looks like it's in the same, like they're all dirty. I honestly can say my roommate wore more clothes out of his dirty laundry bag than he did out of his drawers. And by my roommate, I mean me.
To clarify that, what he's saying is you have the 2 laundry bags that are completely identical, and they sit in the corner of your room. And if you have your new one that you just got back with all your clean clothes, and you have your super dirty one, and you stick one of those on top of the other, or you stick them right next to each other, and there's no way to tell, if you're in a pinch, like, and you have 5 minutes before your next thing, don't dump all your clothes out. Just leave them in the bag. And if you really don't have time, not condoning this, but that could be an alternative if you just don't have actual time. That doesn't mean when you have 10 minutes and you go, oh, I'll just do that instead of folding your clothes. That's going to come back and bite you.
Yes.
But if you needed to, that is something you could possibly, quote, get away with.
And
you could be clever with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that really only works for PTGs. Don't try that with ABUs. You get ABUs back a little differently.
You'll figure these things out. One thing I didn't have a second pair of hard rinks when I went to field training. A lot of people don't have it. So like when we had to do our inspections, our standby inspections, I was like, I can't get my special display uniform ready. Something that we had in the FTM before, a special display uniform, because I don't have the hard rinks for it. So I literally I threw it in the bag, and they came in to do my inspection, and like, well, okay, it's in his laundry, so I understand it's not up there. But you'll think of these things on the fly, for sure. But it's definitely a good tool for you, the laundry bag.
All right. Cribs asked, do you make your bed as soon as you wake up in the morning? Yes. I believe I attempted. I mean, they don't check it until you're going for breakfast. So they don't check it when you're at the PT pad. So as soon as you get up, first thing you do, like we said, you go to the PT pad or you go do your PT or whatever. I would get up and at least throw my bed together as best as I could. But what happens is when you get back from PT, if this is how they do it, they could organize it completely different. You have super little amount of time to get showered, dressed, and off to breakfast. That's when you like quickly do your bed. you have absolutely no time to make your bed. If you are practicing doing hospital corners and making your bed and it is taking you longer than a minute, you don't have enough time. Like, you're going to go over. And you're not going to be able to make your bed perfect, but the best thing you do is make your hospital corners look good. Because even if your bed seems a little wrinkly, but the hospital corners are looking like sharp, that's what they'll notice first. If there's anything like soup sandwich whack looking like your bed, it doesn't matter. You'll get a 341 for that. But if your hospital corners look good, you'll be fine. But
And your icicles, tuck your icicles.
yeah, and then tuck the icicles in, as you saw in Cadet Heidi's video.
Yep.
Yeah.
Prioritize the inside edge of the bed first.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the one that you would see first when you enter the room, and then take care of the outside. But for some reason I guess to up the difficulty factor, they give you sheets and blankets that barely fit your bed. So you're gonna have to really get everything lined up properly so you can actually get your hospital corners on both sides without them coming out.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it though. It'll get easier.
Yeah, but your first couple times, you're going to be like, damn, that's a nice-looking hospital corner on one side. You're going to go to the other side, and here's your mattress, and here's how far the cover goes down over your mattress. And you're going to have to completely redo it, and then you're going to start getting flustered because you'll be like, oh, crap, I'm out of time, and I have a literal sheet that's not even close to fitting my bed. So
yeah, I know it's a no-brainer, but make sure your nails are really nicely clipped and trimmed when you go there, because you'll be literally trying so hard getting your nails under, trying to get your hospital corners to stick in there. I know I was almost bleeding under my fingernails trying to get that stuff stuck down in there.
It's literally the making your bed. I swear, sometimes when you stop, you back away, and it doesn't come out, you're like, okay, we're good. It's it'll be less than a half inch of extra room, and the comforter's thick, so that blanket comforter thing is very thick and really hard to make hospital corners out of. So but you'll get used to that. But I mean, to really answer your question, Cribs, yes, no, it doesn't. I mean, it depends on how much time you figure out your first day that you're gonna have. But I'll tell you, it's not enough time, regardless of when it is. It's definitely before breakfast.
See, for me, it was just pretty much always at the same time you get changed in the UOD. So, like you said, wake up. I don't know if it was just my flight. Priority one was getting out for us. They made that very clear. I did not touch my bed when I woke up, aside from actually putting the blanket back on where I slept. I didn't really tuck anything in.
Yeah.
I got my Camelback, put on my shower shoes, got out. And then, as soon as they finished debriefing us, threw my shoes on, got back out. So they'll give you, I always had enough time. There was not a situation in which, and I moved quickly, but they would give us 15 minutes to shower. I'd shower for 2 minutes or something like that. I'd come back out, I'd get into my UOD, and I would make my bed, and then I'd make help my roommate make his bed.
Mm-hmm.
When they say 15 minutes, that's 15 minutes amongst all 4 of your roommates to shower. You'll kind of figure out a rotation. Shower real quick, get changed in the UOD, and then take care of anything that needs to be taken care of in your room. And that could be a time to fold clothes if it needs to be, time to go help your roommates if they need something.
I'd get good at it early. I'd practice, or at least practice it before you go, and then when you're there, you don't want to be that person that's freaking out because you don't have your bed made and you need your suite mates to come help you because your roommate's doing something else. I mean, it happens. I've had to get help making my bed. I've had to go across to my suite mates and help make their bed because they're shining their shoes before inspection or something. So, be that person that's help and that's not freaking out because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Good input, Heine. I'm going to go ahead and comment on something while we're waiting for another question as well. One big thing that Cyrus noted in our document is know your strengths and weaknesses And I know that's something that is told you whether you're in ROTC or not, like in a lot of programs, it just says know your strengths and weaknesses. But I mean really know your strengths and weaknesses. And one of the harder things to do is actually to take a step back, not to take the step forward. Because you're going to find it easier to take the step forward. But taking a step back when you're on a roll, like if you're on a roll, you're like flight commander, you're killing it, and you approach something you're not really sure is your real good area of expertise, but you're like, man, I'm already killing it. Like, I'm just going to go through it. Take a step back, because if your FTO sees or CT sees you're crushing it and then you get somewhere, I'm not saying like stop doing it, but if someone else is offering to help, let them take command, let them take help. That'll show that you can delegate and that you're not micromanaging. For a perfect example, after TD3, I'm the flight commander. Okay, we get up, go to the FA, or it was TD2 or TD3. I think TD2. We go to the FA, we come back, eat breakfast, and then we had to go to ORI. And I was like, hell yes, I know ORI. I know this is like one of the hardest things because the procedure is crazy, and you either know or you don't. I was like, I'm going to crush this, and it's going to be great. We got to ORI, and they were like, all right, explain ORI. They didn't say, Cadet Young, you have to. They just said, Juliet Flight, you need to practice for ORI. So I jumped in there, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. And I was helping them out, and I knew it. I wasn't having any mistakes. And then I had one mistake, and a cadet helped me out. And then after that, like, I started forgetting how to do it, kind of. Like, I remembered it, but I was missing little things. Like, I was losing my momentum. And my CTA called me over and helped me out big time. He said, hey, you got a cadet there that he goes, you're doing fine. You're crushing it. You got a cadet that I think knows these procedures pretty well. And I was like, all right. And then I was like, all right, Smith, go up there and do RRI. He's like, I got you. And then as soon as he finished, I was fired. Smith was flight commander, and he was in charge of RRI and the rest of the day. So, and that was something I could have noticed. Like, there's no point for you to take on everything, because there's only a level of like excellence or as well as you can do before you start screwing up. And then you can really dig yourself a hole. And sometimes it's just better to ask for help.
Absolutely.
I also have something if we're waiting on another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he just got kicked out the call real quick. Okay. So another thing that I have, I know Young was just talking with the CTA, your CTA going and help him out. At the end of the day, when they're doing their foot check, like, it's gonna be a little bit locked off. What the feet check or foot check is you'll be in your flip flops. They'll be out there and they'll be checking the bottoms of your feet. Make sure you're not having any crazy blisters or things that would concern them. Ask you how you're doing, like, mentally. So this is a time I would say take that time to, like, really, bond with your flight, or try and make your CTA laugh, try and make the flight laugh when they ask you like a dumb question. And like, it'll go a long way towards building those relationships with your flight mates, ones that you may not necessarily talk to all the time. So I would definitely take advantage of all the little times. I would say, like, smile at people. Like, even if you're not talking to them, like, smile to them so they have that, positive image in their head when they like think about you, and like they have to like rank you among your peers. So yeah, that's just one tip that I have.
And yeah, go ahead, Woodard.
My computer shifted and I hit the power button or something like that, but I'm back. So I would start packing earlier than you had planned with the pandemic and all. It might be a little harder to get, and I know you guys ideally have all your stuff, but the non-essentials, not everybody might have all of those. I would recommend packing like a real like Ziploc bag, everything is banded, packing
Mhm.
about a week before. I would say a week. It took me probably 5 or 6 hours to get everything packed up, ready to go, checklisted, because you're going to want to checklist everything like twice or 3 times, using the FTM, and then you'll want to checklist all your non-essentials. And I would honestly set aside about a week. And I'm very prone to procrastination. I would set aside about a week, honestly.
Yeah, especially with marking all of your stuff as well, because you want to make sure you're marking it in the right place and folding it right, making it look good. I had Cadet Perez help me, and it still took like 4 hours.
Yeah. Cadet Zubowicz was talking last year about how he started packing like the day of, and how he didn't go to bed till like 1 a.m. on the night he was supposed to go to field training. He had to wake up at like 5 to catch his flight or something like that. He didn't go to bed till 1.
The laundry marking takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Time. For socks, especially for socks.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, make sure you get that that silver Sharpie, so you can get your black sock. Well, hold on.
If you don't have black socks because you no longer have blues, but if you bring black socks,
your ABU socks, same thing. You
maybe.
use that silver Sharpie.
Yep.
But yeah, if you have any questions about laundry marks, I don't know how well we covered. I don't think we covered that very well. It's basically like on the collar of your shirt. Laundry mark goes in the back, like where by the tag, and then on the socks, it's like on the bottom, like where the toes are centered.
Yep.
I think.
Make sure to take, so if you do tape your stuff down so it stays nice in the Ziploc bags, make sure to take all of that off. If you get caught with tape on your clothes, that's a big no-no. That's very bad. Or like a rubber band, if there's like a rubber band around your shirt and like you just missed it and threw it in your drawer and left it there, that's bad. That's very bad. Or like little pieces of tape to hold your shirt together, bad. Also, I know we were talking about that laundry thing. Do not, under any circumstances, put laundry in your backpack.
Yeah.
Do not put it in your backpack. Do not put it in your duffel.
Yeah.
If it is absolutely necessary for you to do that, do it in the laundry bag. Never, ever put laundry anywhere other than your laundry bag in your drawers.
Yeah,
So,
your personal backpack. He's talking about like the one you bring with you.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, so something about laundry marks. So here's an example of one, right? So these are my PTGs. Okay, so it's on the tag, and it's just your first digit, your last name, and then your social, right? Or your 4 digits of your social. And as you can see, this one says not my name, because this pair of freaking PTGs, I'm just now realizing, is someone else's from field training when my laundry got lost.
That's gross.
I can't believe I didn't notice that.
That's
But that's what it looks like. I was trying to get you all an example. That's funny that that's what that is. Yeah, because my laundry got lost, and they just tried to get me. I tried to identify what I had, and I think I just said F it because I literally had nothing. I lost all my PTGs. It was awful. So, but yeah, that's what your laundry mark looks like. And I used a stamp. So I actually got one of those like stamps things, just like a normal stamp, and you exchange the letters, and I just stamp it. Y1877, Y1877, Y1877. And it was just because I have awful handwriting, and that was just a quicker way to do it, in my opinion. But that's up to you all. There's no reason to go out and buy that when you have a Sharpie. Okie dokie.
I got some more tips here.
Yeah, keep going.
So, along with that duffel, they're gonna be bringing. It's gonna be huge. Something that I did. If you do happen to fly in, if you have chosen to fly in, at the Atlanta airport, there's a USO that you can go to. So you bring your big old duffel. It's upstairs on the second floor. Drop it outside the USO. Go in there, check in. They'll have like snacks for you. They'll have food. There'll probably be a bunch of other cadets there doing the same thing, like relaxing on lounge thing. So it's a good place to kind of chill out before you get on the bus. I wouldn't wait too long to get on the bus. It'll be very tempting to just sit there for a long time until like 2 o'clock. But I wouldn't stay there too long. I'd get there relatively early, so that you can either get a good position or you can get all your stuff ready mainly, but like on that first day on TD0. But yeah, y'all have anything on that?
I mean, not in particular. I waited kind of long. Came back and bit me. I was like the
Yeah.
last guy to get there.
I got to the airport and about hour and a half or 2 hours almost later than Cadet Greco, Lovejoy, and Cruz were there. They were at my max with me. And they were like, Young, you got to come to the USO. Dude, they have all these snacks. And everyone says you're supposed to – you want to chill out and, like, talk, hang out with your friends before you really go into that in-processing and it all begins. So I go to the USO. First thing I do, I open up my phone to FaceTime Perez, Vanessa, Cadet Perez. Second I did it, Captain walks in. Was like, y'all goofing off in here? Think this is funny? You're just going to wait all day here? And I was like, you got to be shitting me. Like, it was like immediate. And they had been there for like 2 hours. He's like, you get in here, you get some food, and you get out. And I'm like, all right, this sucks. But I think that was because it was almost like it was getting late. Like I said, I got there super late, so he was trying to get people to get going. But if you get there super early, I would actually definitely recommend going to the USO and like getting some like water, some snacks, Gatorade, and like whatever they have, because it's really nice to just like have that last bit of thing and not just get off a plane and go straight to in-processing. Because as soon as you step out of that airport area and you go to in-processing, that's it. So,
For sure. That duffel also, make sure you know how to secure it. If anybody can reach in like with their fingers and like into your duffel, like any way at all, and grab something out of there, that's a security violation, and they're most likely gonna try it. So make sure it's twisted up all nicely, and you can't reach in and grab anything. What a lot of people did was they took like a towel and they put it over the top. So like even if they are able to get their finger in there, like they can't grab anything out. But yeah, make sure you know your combinations on your locks. Make sure you know how to use the combination lock. Don't go and like be trying to open your bag and you don't know how, or forget the combination, because that would not be good. Write it down in your FTM. You can write down whatever you want in your FTM, like, and then, just access it whenever you need it when you're there. So definitely write down your combination in there. Yeah.
all right, Woodard, you got anything before you need to head out?
I mean, I really have one more thing. So unless you get pretty lucky, day one, when you get there, you will be yelled at, and it will hit differently than when we yelled at you. So imagine like the first time we started yelling at you, but like times like 5, because it's some complete random stranger. And the intensity is just gonna be kind of something different. You're gonna be in a different place. It's gonna, like I said, it's gonna hit differently. Don't take it to heart. Just take the information from what they say. Don't take the way they say it. And day one, laying in bed, was honestly probably the loneliest I've felt ever. So like, you go to bed at night, I'm sleeping above some random weirdo. I've been yelled at. I don't like where I am. I just want to go home. It is a very it's just a lonely feeling. Understand everybody there is feeling the exact same way, and you're all going to be okay.
Yep.
When you're sitting there about to cry at night, just think about me telling you that it's all going to be all right, and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, they'll cry from that, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, don't cry.
But something Cyrus put down on here also to talk about. So like, be be somebody's friend before you give them like too much constructive criticism, because they're going to get – a lot of people are going to be down really early, like on themselves. They're not going to think they're doing well. So the last thing you want to do is like put somebody down, one more time. Just so definitely make sure you have a positive relationship with somebody before you start going, like giving them corrections, because you don't want to be just an added stress on somebody. Another thing Cyrus put on here, bring erasable pens. That's a big one, in case you mess up like your memorandum or like your 341s. It's just something easy, something that you can share with somebody else. Bring extra pens because some people won't have pens and they'll need to borrow one or they'll lose theirs. So that'd be a good thing. Oh, duct tape. I don't know if we ever mentioned duct tape, but you're gonna want to bring duct tape. So your flight, your squadron, like once you get your identity and stuff all sorted out, something you can think about. You'll have duct tape that you'll put on like your camelbacks, on your duffels, similar to what we had. Some people had still on their duffels when they got them, and then that's where you'll put your name and everything so that you can distinguish like who's whose. But definitely bring some duct tape with you to field training. Let's see what else. Yeah, let's look at locker and that.
We basically covered most of the stuff he had. I mean, just like by chance of just talking. Does anyone have any questions before we're going to get ready to close this up, just because Zoom's going to kick me out here in a second. And I don't want to have everyone try to like rejoin. Plus, I'm going to record this meeting and put it on YouTube as well. But I want to get any last minute questions before we go ahead and close it out. And of course, you can always reach out, like a text or a phone call. I don't care. Any one of the staff members will talk to you for however long you need, if you just want to talk about stuff or if you have something to ask individually. For females, if you have female-related questions, Cadet Greco and Cadet Stanko are there to answer your questions. So for females, female-related questions, if you have anything regarding that, please ask Cadet Greco or Cadet Stanko. They have asked me to tell you that. That's not just me pushing that off to them. They know that. They're ready for that. So if you have any questions regarding anything like that, which I probably would recommend asking them, because I'm sure there's a lot that comes along with that, they'll be able to tell you their own side of the things. Or if you're a member of FTP that just wants to ask about, like, from a female's perspective, like differences that they experience or whatnot, right? Definitely you can ask them anytime. All right, just get their availability and just go ahead and ask them. So
you want to go over the FTP or the FTM test they did real quick?
Yeah, we'll close with that. Let's do that. That's a good idea. Okay, so all right, FTM test. So I'm not gonna read everyone's grades out, okay? I'm not gonna do that. But I will say pretty much the mode, so the most often scored, were around the 85-90 range. We had 3 people fail, so they got less than like a 70. And those people that failed got like 50s and below. We had 1 in the 70s, and then the rest were 85s, 90s, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 100s. So we had 4 100s. A lot of the questions that I saw that you all put the same type of answers but weren't right was when does your bed need to be made, right? So like when can they check? Yeah, so to answer Gething's question about scores, when you'll get your scores, your flight commanders will be able to give that to you if you just ask them. So just ask your flight commanders and they'll text you your score. If you want to know your exact test, what's wrong, you can discuss that with them as well, like which ones you got wrong. But yeah, just talk to your flight commanders and they'll help you set that up. But a couple questions I noticed that a lot of you all are having troubles with was – no, Ruger. The one about the beds, like when does your dorm have to be ready for inspection? And a lot of you said, I believe, Heine, it was the breakfast till call to quarters. Or no, a lot of you said dorm maintenance period to call to quarters, and then a lot of you said from end of breakfast till call to quarters. Ruger.
Yeah.
And I believe the correct answer was now y'all got me confused. Do you remember what it was, Heine?
Here, let me see what you put down on here. So
You said end of breakfast, but
Yeah,
like you
end of
said
breakfast.
it as if you
Yeah.
were like
Yep. No, yep, it was. That's what it
a lot
is.
of people.
end of breakfast to call it quarter. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, a
yep.
lot of people said like end of first dorm maintenance period.
Yeah. So in the FTM, and when I wrote these questions, this wasn't like off the top of my head. I made sure to go through the FTM. In the FTM, it like very specifically says end of breakfast. So we took points off for that. Now, while that's still right, because technically the first dorm maintenance period would be that time, that's still like technically like a right answer. The reason we do it is because on your FTM test, it's exactly how the FTM is written. So it could say somewhere else in there like your bed can be inspected from the end of first dorm maintenance period, but specifically that question that I wrote was catered for that exact question. And some of the questions I wrote were a lot harder than the questions are going to be on the FTM test when you get there. The FTM test when you get there will be stuff you'll have to look up. Some of it you'll have to look up because it's just going to be very specific, but it's very easy to understand. The hardest part about the FTM test and why we did this specifically was to get you all comfortable with knowing where the sections are, because not only just reading your FTM is important, but getting to understand where to reference. Like Cadet Cyrus, I know it's crazy. You can do it with the DNC too. You ask him where something is, and he can tell you what chapter, what section, okay, or around the page. I think it's around page 85, and then it'll be like
Pujarski used to be able to do page.
Yeah.
Pujarski.
Yep.
Pujarski could tell you the page.
Pujarski, yep, he did. He would literally tell you exactly what page. So with what I have to say to that, that's why we did that, and that was a huge portion of it. So get to know where everything is, because it gets a little confusing because sometimes things are repeated, sometimes things are repeated differently. Like that's why we had some problems with detail marching and saluting. Also, detail marching and saluting. Everyone in the detail will salute, only the commander will greet verbally. That is how it is standardized.
All right, got you. So just to go through the questions real quick and the answers. So the area must be called to attention for what officer rank? That was the first question, and that is 06 and above. So colonel and above. So best believe, like if you're outside, and then and you're just like standing around, sitting around, and then the commander, like your FTU commander comes up, you better call the area. The next question, how many Form 341s must be filled out and carried on person at all times? You need to have 3 on you at all times. You could easily blow through that though, so I definitely have more than just 3 on you at a time. You can get 3 alone, like in the DFAC or something. True or false, you should never salute indoors. False, you salute when you're reporting in. And when you have like your counselings or checks with your FTO. What chapter and section can a cadet find answers regarding cadet positions duties? Chapter 6, section 7. Something good to look at, so you know what you're really responsible for. For example, I was safety officer my first day when I got there, and I didn't really know what safety officer was doing because we didn't do it much here. So like it was good to look at that and really understand what I needed to do. What cadet position initiates PT sessions? That would be your group PFO. They'll go up in front of everybody and start the workout right in front of the flagpole. True or false, your FTM may not leave your dorm unless specified by your FTO. That is false. You take your FTM with you, like everywhere, in case you need to reference it. Who gives the verbal greeting of the day in detail? Like Cadet Young was saying, it's detail commander. Let's see here. Who should a cadet inform regarding issues with their dorm, their FCO or CTA? So if your sink's not working, or if there's a leak, there's something missing, definitely let them know. Don't like try and just be like, oh, I'm screwed, poor me, there's nothing we can do about it. If there's something wrong, like, definitely bring it up. How should dorm toilet seats be displayed? In the up position, something we talked about before. How many hours may a cadet be absent from field training before a review of retention is initiated? That answer is 15 hours. So that doesn't need to be continuous either. If you miss 15 hours of instruction, like, just even if it's not like in one period at once, like they can have that meeting. So if you miss like 3 hours a day, and then you miss like 10 hours one day, like over 4 days, you can get that. So try not to go like, getting sick. Take care of yourself before, like, and while you're there. So you don't have to go to like medical and all that and be away from instruction for too long. How many pairs of PT shorts must be brought to field training? 5. True or false? If a cadet greets due to rank recognition when in PTGs, they must salute. False. You do not salute in your PTGs to somebody else in PCGs. That's not something we do. Yeah, don't need to go too much into that. True or false? Talking in the restroom is never permitted. False. You can talk to your suite mates. You're definitely going to be talking to your suite mates if you're going to take a shower, and like, or somebody needs to use the bathroom. Don't be that person that's in there taking a poop when people need a shower. What does call to quarters stand for? All right, what does CTQ stand for? Call to quarters. 8 prohibited activities while
Let
field
me
training.
add some real quick, Connie. Sorry, my mic was
Yeah,
muted.
go ahead.
With the restroom part, another part is there will be multiple times at Vigilant Warrior and like when you're doing classroom stuff and when you're at the auditorium that there'll be like a group restroom and there'll be lots of cadets in there. You're not permitted to talk unless it's field training related or you're like helping a kid out. They can tell when you're just smoking and joking in there, okay? But it specifically says in the FTM that talking is not permitted unless you are helping something out or it's field training related. Okay, go ahead, Ani.
Got it. Absolutely. So 8 prohibited activities while field training. Those are all listed out for you in your FTM. So about like drugs and all that. Go unauthorized travel, like on base and all that. So 16. How long must cadets wait after eating before double time is allowed? 1 hour. So they're not going to have you eating and then immediately running somewhere after that. So don't worry about that. Describe the proper procedure for entering another cadet's dorm room. So you'll go up to the dorm room. And you'll say lady or gentleman in the area, depending on obviously your gender. And they'll either say, is it standby or all clear? Is that correct? And then, yeah, so that'll happen. And then you enter.
Just please stand by though. Just so
Yeah,
you know.
please. Okay.
Yeah. If
Thank
your
you.
FTO knocks on the door and you say stand by, like an asshole, even if it's like technically correct, you're fried. Just saying. Like, just please stand by. Make it just quick and short. Don't need to be like stand by.
One of my flight mates had his back to the door, and our squadron STO, our major, knocked on the door. He goes, "What's good?" And the major said, "What?" He goes, "What's good?" And then he turns around. He's like, "Oh my god!" This is a major.
You sure that wasn't you, Woodard? That sounds like you.
No, that did not me.
But yeah, for sure. What else was I gonna say about that? Entering somebody's room. Yeah. Go help people out, like, if you have time. I know you can help your suite mates, or you can help your your roommate. But if you're like getting ready for your standby inspection, or people need to get their rooms ready, if there's somebody without a roommate or something, reach out to them, go and help them, go take that lap to get to their room to help them out. Okay. Moving on to question 18. True or false? Form 341s can be used for both excellence or discrepancies. That's true. It's good if you get a 341 for excellence. I felt like people were looking at me funny because I was the first one to get like a 341 for excellence in my flight for just grabbing something like for my roommate when we were leaving the room. Like he forgot his flashlight, so I grabbed it for him. But it's a good thing. Don't get too caught up in 341 though, because in the grand scheme of things, they matter, but they're not gonna be make it or break it for you. Number 19, must when barracks be inspection ready? End of breakfast to call to quarters. Went over that one earlier. How far do hospital corners extend away from the head of the mattress? 12 inches was the answer on that one. So if you have any other questions about stuff in the FTM, we can answer those as well. But yeah, that was the whole test, the FTM test.
It'll be easier than that.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot easier than that.
Be much
That's
easier.
multiple choice. The whole thing's multiple choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. If you don't have any more questions, Woodard, do you have anything to add?
Not really. It's gonna be an awesome experience. It only happens once. Honestly, I wish I could go back. You're gonna look at it in retrospect and really miss it. Just honestly have fun while you're there.
Have fun while you're there.
And if this is the last time I talk to some of these Max 1 people, really do, I know it's hard, really do in the moment cherish kind of where you're at in the step you're taking. Because looking back on it, I really do believe that it is a fundamental aspect of becoming a POC. And I really did appreciate field training after I left. And if I appreciated it maybe a little bit more in the moment, I could have stayed a bit more locked on, because that was something I had trouble with. So
let us know what Max's y'all are going to, so we can get y'all some letters sent in.
Yes,
there.
please.
Yes, please do. Yeah, we got to get.
If somebody wants to get a little spreadsheet going and share that or something.
Yeah, love to send you some memes, send you some current events, what's going on. You never know. COVID. Wouldn't you like to stay updated on what's going on there? So yeah, definitely, that's a great idea. Good input there, Woodard.
I would say one last tip is take care of your flight. Like if you see something that can make something easier for them, write that memorandum, like to break the flight path, or to get a snack box to take stuff from the DFAC. Come up with a name for your flight. Come up with something that'll bring y'all together. It may seem, something mundane, something that we just do here, but it really helps to bring y'all together. If you can come up with a flight name and come up with chants and stuff while you're at field training, it's a big morale booster. So
yep,
don't forget those things.
All right, y'all. No more questions. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all get on with your Thursday. Good luck with finals. Good luck. I'm sure you guys got your max dates, so be prepping for that. Go ahead, start the packing now. Finish out your school. Do well in school. And just check your emails. Make sure you're staying up to date with what Tech Sergeant McGee's sending out and all that. And make sure you're filling out that fitness tracker. But that's all I got for you all. Thank you all for coming in. This is going to help you a lot. Like I said, you can reach out to any one of us. We will definitely answer any questions, as well as Cadet Stanko and Cadet Greco. They're available anytime as well. So with that being said, you all have a good rest of your Thursday, and I will see you all on the POC side. Ciao.